Hello and welcome to the Power in Your Voice, the podcast by your voice.
You're listening to Cody and Kayleigh, and today we are talking about meetings. When you do co-production, there are lots of meetings.
Sometimes these meetings could be good and sometimes not. Here's what we think.
Yeah, let's talk about I like meetings when there's a bit of fun in the meeting. How about you?
I like them making a quiz with you.
I like it when meetings are not all serious, and it's a nice way for our group to bond with one another.
I like the meetings with Mark because I can make fun of him in a good way, not in a bad way, but in a good way.
Bit of banter. Yeah. Also, in the meeting, I really like it when you go into a meeting and you know what you're going to be talking about. Makes such a difference.
It does.
Yeah. I mean, and I love it when everybody sticks to it as well.
Yeah.
And I also like it when you can choose. Somebody will say to you, okay, would you like to talk about this now or this later? Oh, I just love having a choice. Makes me feel really powerful in the meeting, and it helps me get my head around what is going to be talking about today. Because I find it hard to focus on topics. So if I've been given a choice and I've been given an opportunity before the meeting starts to know what it's talking about, really helps my head. Is that the same for you?
I think so, because I think where you're coming from, I think we've been working hard, and people are listening to you even more, and I think people are aware what we're coming from and understand us a bit more.
Yeah, I like it when we get to say what we want to say, and I like listening to what everybody has to say. Like when you're talking and you're making really good points, I like hearing what Cody has to say, and that helps me understand about meetings a bit better, because I can see how the other people are in the meeting, and that can help me understand what I need to do as well. And I really like it when people share
their stories all their lives.
Yeah, because it makes me feel connected to that person, and I usually find a way to relate to that person if I can, and then that really helps me know how I can get along with that person, because I know more about their life and how they feel about stuff. And because when I don't know about what that person is saying, it's then really hard to be in a meeting with them, because I don't know anything about them, and I don't know what they're talking about. So I really enjoy it when people say what they want to say. And if I've got something to add to that or something to say as well, I try my best to say it. And when I'm with people who I feel connected with, I can share more. So I really like having you in the meeting as well. And I feel supported, and you always check with me when we work together on our PowerPoint. You always ask me, is that okay for you, Kayleigh? And that really means a lot to me, because not everybody does that for me in the meeting. They just go on, that is okay, and by the time I get the chance to say the meeting's over, but you don't do that. So I really like that. Is there anything that I do that you really like?
My idea was, I think they have good top positives on our meeting, especially coffee morning and a network meeting. That's all really, really positive to see that. Join lots of conversations going on.
We always try to include people in our meetings and give them a chance to say what they've been up to.
Dislikes.
Oh, it can be quite a lot of dislikes in the meeting, can't there?
Yeah.
I don't like it when people's not giving you their full attention in a meeting, or there's other things going on like seagulls like squawking in the background, and you're trying to hear what people are saying.
Being spoken like a child.
Ooh, that's something you really mustn't do, because we are adults.
Yeah.
And it can make me become angry quite quickly, and I really, really get my patience tested when that happens. And I don't understand why people do it.
No.
I mean, maybe they should look up learning disabilities before they start the meeting, if they know that they're going to be having a meeting with people who have a learning disability, so they can further their understanding rather than trying to speak to us like we're young children, or at times like we're stupid. That really makes me angry, and when people say that, because I know I'm not stupid, and I also would stick up for you because I know that you're not. So if somebody was speaking to you like you are, that would really hurt my feelings, because I know it's not true.
And in a way, and I think that's why learning disabilities haven't got a job, because they feel welcome, aren't they? They feel really welcome. Oh yeah, you shouldn't come to our meeting anyway because you've got learning disabilities. There's no reason why you can't come to our meetings. That's a really hard life for some people. Oh yeah, you're not good enough. Why are you here for working? You don't belong here.
Yeah.
It just really hurts painful. It is. It's just not nice to kind people.
No. And it makes me even more worse when they say it in a way with like a little laugh, like, oh, you don't need to be here, do you? And then they have like a little chuckle. Is this disabled? And it's like, I'm like, well, I am here, so obviously I do need to be here. And who are you to make that judgment and put somebody down before you even know them? And I did person, if I wasn't in a professional setting, I might say something to them to make them think about that behaviour. Often when you are in a professional meeting, these people get away with it, because if you say anything, again, you're going to get in trouble, because you're the one with the learning disability, and they make it like it's your problem. It's like you don't understand all that, or they don't understand that somebody's just been so rude to you, and you shouldn't have to put up with it.
No.
But you're automatically a person in trouble, and people don't understand what we have to go through. And it's not just in the meetings, it's all day of our lives that happens to us.
That's we were born this way, or born like that.
Yeah.
People talking over you. I got a good one. Well, when you have a meeting, right, we'll have a meeting on our voice network and coffee morning. We always put the rules up in our screen app.
We do.
So that's why it's important now we try and make that rule easy possible if we can. So you may read out what's the best rules to have.
Yes. What are our rules?
When you are not talking, put your mute off if you're not talking. If you've got any answering for us or any question to us, then put your mute on. So, or you put your hand up. Actually, no, you put your hand up when you want to speak, because the other person was want to speak first, and then the other person want to speak. So that's why we made all little walls to say, "Oh, could you hold on for a second, let the other person talk first, and then hopefully we get the right time for to speak up even more when you're in charge in a meeting."
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it's important. If people haven't got much time, that you always can put in the chat box.
Yes.
And they haven't got time to speak up. That's why we had to follow the rules now.
Yeah. And I think it really helps to have these rules in the meetings, because when people's talking over you, nobody really hears anything, and it can make a meeting a waste of time. And being in a meeting is about getting a good balance of talking and listening and being fair to people. And sometimes we can make mistakes, because sometimes it could take us a longer time to get our words out, or sometimes we've got maybe 3 points within one sentence. So sometimes people can think that you've finished, but you haven't, but just because you're processing the next part of what you're going to say, and they can make a mistake. And if it's an honest mistake, then it's okay. But if they keep on doing it after you've kind of said, "Hold on, I'm not finished," or keep jumping in, and the conversation's moved on before you've had opportunity to say what it is that you want to say. And when you've got really good ideas and somebody else thinks their idea is more important than your idea, it's not very nice, because your ideas count as well.
When your ideas are shut down.
Yeah, it can be really hurtful, and I can sometimes really insist and get those ideas back on top. However, it's not always that easy to do that, and not everybody can insist, and shouldn't have to do that or bring it back to what you were saying because they haven't given you that time. Or when there's outcomes of the meetings, and one of the negative outcomes of the meeting is something that you had an idea about and you suggested but it wasn't listened to, can be so frustrating, because you know that you could have prevented that and only had somebody listen to you. But unfortunately it doesn't, and not sometimes in meetings as you not always in charge. So sometimes you have to take it. It can be really hard and really an imbalance of power in that meeting, which I don't like, because I've had learning challenges and a lot of injustices in my life. I'd had a bit of coaching of how to be empowered in meetings, and one was to write your ideas down before the meeting, and then don't let your emotions get in the way of you getting your points out. But then if the people can't even be bothered to listen to you and shut your ideas down, I've lost that empowerment. And I would really like it for other people who have learning disabilities to give them that empowerment that I have as well. Because if you write it down, you've got it there in front of you. And then if somebody tries to argue with you or tell you something different, you know that that's their thoughts, not yours, because you've got your thoughts right there in front of you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's important I put on a notes book, because you know, yeah, what I was going to say about it.
Yeah, and I really like it when we put our names by it. This is what Cody thinks. This is what Kayleigh thinks. Or this is what we both think. And this is what we found out. And that's really good because it shows how well we've worked together as a team and how well our ideas are as individuals and how important we are to one another in doing our jobs really well together. And I love for other people with learning disability to be the same like us. I think that would be really nice for them to have that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, another thing that can be really hard in a meeting is when people talk in like a different sort of language and different like acronyms, like code names for words and meanings rather than just saying what it is. It could be really hard to understand what they're talking about.
Yeah, I think sometimes with I don't understand with disabilities what easy read and why we can't stick to easy read for information. When we had that meeting with because one of our colleagues said, "Oh, can you explain this to this? And what does it mean? It's got to be easy read for disabilities."
Yes, it can make a difference, and if they think about what they're saying and how they're saying it, and we remind them before the meetings, that can make a difference. And sometimes they are aware that they're doing it, but they're not quick to make the changes. They have started apologising for it now, so it's a bit of progress, but really they need to do better on it and just not do it. Like, they wouldn't have a conversation like that with their families. So why do it in a meeting? I mean, even if I knew what everything meant, like, I wouldn't speak to anybody like that because they're really going to struggle to understand the conversation, even if you don't have a learning disability. But if I start saying, "Oh yes, don't forget your P's, your Q's, and your TVs, and your MIC, and
yeah, absolutely,
yeah, and your mixes and your blends," they're going to be like, "Kayleigh, what on earth are you speaking about?" And it's like, well, actually, I don't know either. I just heard all these people at work speaking like it, so I thought I'd do the same.
Being rushed.
You feel not good when you're being rushed, and like, I don't like being rushed at any time, but at the same time, I don't like being late. And finding that balance and getting all our work done can be really hard.
Yeah.
So even though I don't like being rushed, I do understand that sometimes it's necessary. But it depends on the type of meeting, and if it's like when everybody else has been given the time and then I haven't, that's when I don't agree with it. Or if I'd been given the time and you hadn't, then I wouldn't agree with that either, because it's not fair and it's not right. And then it kind of would make me feel guilty if I'd been given that time and then you hadn't, or one of my other colleagues hadn't.
Yeah.
That would then make me feel bad.
Yeah.
Even though it's not my fault. So I don't like that kind of behaviour.
No. And some way meetings we struggled with a lot of meetings. There's just times as well. Oh yeah, sorry, I haven't got much time left. Could you say something quickly? That's why we never get a chance to speak up, because the meetings are just trying to rush you because they've got another meeting coming.
Yeah, that can happen.
People not understanding can be scary. Oh yeah, when I got my first job, I didn't know if people know well. I think you just get nervous about it.
Yeah, I think that can happen.
Did it happen to you when you got first job?
Yes, I always get nervous, but at the same time, a little bit of nerves I think is normal in a new
environment.
Yeah, and I mean, it's about knowing what is important to me and what isn't, and what to focus my attention on, and understanding that, you know, it's a right to have that level of respect in meeting, and to know that actually if I say what I need to say in the right way, then, you know, I'm not going to get in trouble for voicing my opinion, because that's what my job is. It's called Your Voice.
It is.
So, you know, I could feel a bit more relaxed.
Yes.
With that, and knowing that my employers understand about disability, and they're not always going to be like on your case about stuff, and they're going to have the understanding about the areas that you struggle with, and they're going to try their best to work with you rather than against you, and put it in a way, even if it is maybe a criticism, because they're going to put it in a way that is constructive and helpful, and make me be improved, so there's not reason for me to get nervous. And if they don't do that, I can then tell them that they haven't done it, and because it's part of their ethos, then like they can't have a go at me for it, can they? Because they need to
understand you.
Yeah, practice what they're preaching.
Yeah.
So that can help me relax a bit better, knowing that even if I do run into a struggle or difficulty, and that's why I love having meetings and working for people that I work for, because that's the first time this happened to me in my life, because I've been getting in trouble in everything else that I do, but inclusion I don't get in trouble with much.
Yeah, you and me know each other for a while now. You and me, we know our backgrounds. I know you a bit more with you. You know a bit more with me. So we are quite good company for each other.
Yeah, we are, aren't we?
Yeah,
and we help each other, and that helps me feel not so scared or nervous about things, because I know I've got somebody who gets it.
Yeah.
And that understands, and I'm not alone. So that's really nice to have. And yeah, and sometimes people say things to me, Kayleigh, we know you feel very passionate about this, but in this meeting, this is the meeting where we need to listen, and maybe in another meeting say about what you're upset about. And when I have that, I know exactly what I need to do, and then I'm not going to be put in a position where I could get myself into trouble without meaning to, or making a bad mistake because I got triggered, because I was given the right support.
Yep, you were.